Okay, it's Sunday, the day before Kent and I leave from kilometer zero. And Mel is driving, I'm in the passenger seat. We're gonna just go to arrivals, and Kent, my co-pilot, is arriving, and we're gonna be picking him up. Okay, Kent's arrived, and we're gonna pick him up. There's Mel, your chauffeur. Go in the front seat there, Kent.
Not at all. No.
Well, Kent, I'm really happy that you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Sorry I missed the eye of the hurricane. So,
well, yeah, no biggie.
I even brought the luggage for it. My bag's waterproof, so I was all good to go.
Anyway, our hotel is really close, so we'll be there in like 2 minutes.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So how was your flight? Did you get any sleep?
I got 1 to 2 hours, so I'm all good. I'm good to go.
Okay. Well, tonight you'll need a good sleep.
Well, hopefully I'll get 4 or 6, because I don't know if we're gonna get that in the next week. So.
Well, I'll let you sleep in the first leg. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, no, that sounds awesome.
I was contemplating that.
Well, that was just a bunch of locals, not even a band, just jamming together, and that was fun. And Mel, did you hear the band?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Anyway, we're on the deck of the Katy Vidi Brewery.
Not plugged in?
No, we're not plugged in. Anyway, cheers. That's great. So I don't get much better than this. Beautiful view, Katy Vidi Harbor, Katy Vidi beer, great company, and fantastic fish and chips, which I said I would swear I wouldn't eat anymore, but what the hell.
That bag, can it go in the very back, or the blue bag with the strap? Can it move?
Okay.
This one? Yeah.
We're off. We're off. This is the start of the trip.
All right.
Okay. It's 9:29. We're leaving a minute early. And Kent, what do you think?
Pretty exciting. It's going to be nice to get to Victoria, that's for sure.
Yeah, and this is a really great spot to start because it takes no time to get right on the highway. And I'm going to put flip the camera. Don't want to go through a red. Okay, so we just left City Hall, and we're about to head on to, I think it's called Route 2, which leads right into the Trans-Canada Highway. And I think we've got an overcast day, and I think we have a little bit of headwind with us, but I don't think it's too bad.
It's about 15 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, so this is the first part of the trip. Well, we're about 99 kilometers we've driven so far, and our average speed is pretty good at
99 kilometers.
99 kilometers an hour. Actually, no, we've gone 98 kilometers. Yeah, so we're doing pretty good. However, my first stop, we don't have quite enough range to make to the first scheduled stop, so we're just going to stop in Clarenville, which is a little bit shorter distance away, and we're just going to top the battery up to 80%, or at least get to my next planned stop. And part of the reason is we had a lot of headwind to start with, and we actually took a wrong turn to get on the Trans-Canada Highway. We took the first exit and not the second, so that was a bit of a bummer. But we may have lost maybe 4 minutes, that's it. Anyway, I'm just going to flip this around here. Here we go. So, how's it going there, Ken?
It's going well. The Audie's performing beautifully, and Newfoundland's a gorgeous province to travel through. So it's always fun being out here.
Now we got Mel there in the back seat.
I'm the backseat driver.
Okay, that's good.
So we're carrying a little bit extra weight.
We got a little extra
than we
weight,
had
yeah.
planned on, but this weight is worth its weight in gold.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Okay. Even after 80%, when the rate of charge or the charger is less than 105 or 150 kilowatt hour charger. So it was charging at the same rate that it was at 10% full, or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50% full, right up to about 90%. And it was doing 62.5 kilowatts of power until about 95%, when it went down to about, 46%, I think?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I might as well just do it full. And that's going to give me enough range to skip the charger that I was going to hit before and catch up the time that we need. And I'm going to be making it all the way to my my third charge point, and we should be caught up in time. And right now, my average speed is 93 kilometers per hour. My range is 303 kilometers, and my target is 257 kilometers. So we're totally great. And I'm probably will be picking up more on the cushion anyway, and if I do, I'm just going to go a little faster to get to the charger faster. And it's a beautiful day, temperatures 22.5 degrees, and we're coming up to a hill right now, so what I should do is just really goose it here, but I got the guy in front of me, he's doing okay, and he gives me a little bit of a draft, especially because, are we going with the wind right now? Ken? I think we are.
We were earlier. Yeah, it looks like the wind's on the
I think I'm gonna. Well, it's too late now to pass him, but I may pass this guy. Anyway, we're doing okay. We're heading into Gander, and I think most of everybody knows how famous Gander is for the during 9/11, which only happened a couple days ago, and
9/11 happened 20 years ago.
no, the 9/11 happened, not 9/11, but the anniversary of 9/11
Yeah,
happened
right.
2 days ago. Sorry, yeah.
20th anniversary.
The 20th anniversary. That's right. Anyway, the community of Gander and surrounding community put up all these people that came off the planes that had to land in Gander because of 9/11, because the air traffic was grounded. And I talked to one of the people in Appleton, where there is a memorial to regarding 9/11, and has a large piece of steel from one of the Twin Towers, and that piece of steel and another piece of steel from the Twin Towers that is in the airport are the only two pieces of steel that is outside of the United States. And it's because of the hospitality that the community of Gander and surrounding area gave to all these thousands of people that came off. I don't know how many thousands or how many.
6,800 people on 38 aircrafts that landed in Gander.
Well, yeah.
Actually, no, the 6,800 people. There's more than 38 aircraft. 38 aircraft landed in Gander.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people to house in a small community, and the community had to band together to house them in their own homes, as well as gymnasiums and hotels, etc. And this is one of the reasons why Gander's famous. And there was a film, not a film, but a play that was made on Broadway that is also world famous. And I was also brought to attention by one of the security guards at the airport that Gander was crucial to the war effort during World War II, and there was Ferry Command, where this was the airport where planes going to Europe and England had to refuel to make the crossing over to England. And it was they would actually fly pilots back and forth to keep planes coming to England. So it's a very important community in history for more than one reason. We're coming into the town of Appleton, which is about 15 kilometers west of Gander, and I was here 2 years ago, and this is where the memorial is for 9/11 with the large piece of steel, and it was quite an emotional, when you see it and read the plaque that's next to it, it was really quite an emotional moment. And I did interview Tony of Appleton, one of the residents, and opened up his home to two of what they were called so-called plain people, and he offered me a beer. We had a nice chat, and really proved to me, well, I didn't have to really prove, but the people of Newfoundland are just so nice and welcoming and friendly. Okay, we just got a quick charge from about 46% to 70%, just to make sure that we wouldn't get stuck if the next charger that we're going to wouldn't be working. And we now have 229 kilometers of range. We got lots of power to make it to the next charger, and we're gonna boot it now. Here we go. And actually, it's funny because
keep right.
there was a Tesla that knew about my trip that was waiting for me. I got there just in front of them, but I wasn't there long, and they were super friendly. And I got out of there within, 15 minutes. I don't think that's all I spent charging. So we're all good now. We can enjoy the drive. So we just left the charger. We're cruising along. We're doing well. And Mel is in the back seat. Mel, can you stick your head out there so people can see your face there? Yeah.
I'm back
good.
Here.
Mel is with us because he and I wanted to spend time together, and he had an opportunity to meet with me 2 years ago, travel with me in Newfoundland. He did from Fredericton, from his home to Sydney, Nova Scotia, and that was great to spend with him. But I was on my way to Newfoundland, and he thought about joining me, but he didn't. So this time he didn't want to miss the opportunity. So Mel, why don't you tell that story a bit?
Yeah. So now that
Come a little closer to the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Not working. First year of retirement, so time isn't the problem. And I have a very supportive wife who let me take off with my brother for, I think, what's going to be 10 days in total. So I get to see this cross Canada trek for a couple days, but I'll be getting off in Fredericton, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep on going. You never know. Kent wants me to stay.
Okay, well, you ask your wife, and she would see what she says.
Yeah, he's been really good support, so it's been pretty great.
Yeah, no, he's been taking photos for us and making sandwiches for us, and he's probably the best black seat driver I've ever met.
Good.
Thanks, Mel. Okay. So we just left the charger at Bishop's Falls, and that's going to give us tons of power to make it to our next charging stop. And I wanted to let you know that my brother Mel is in the back seat. And Mel, tell us why you're here with this trip until you get home in Fredericton. Mel lives in Fredericton.
Yeah, well, I couldn't see myself going 5 days sleeping in a car, so I decided to accompany Harvey and support him for Newfoundland, and now back to Fredericton. I'll be getting off in Fredericton. It's just a matter of having the time, since I'm retired now. A couple of years ago I didn't have the time. I had family stuff going on and had to be at the office. So it's a great thing to be retired. I recommend it to everybody.
Anyway, Mel's been a great help, and it's been great to spend time with him. I think we spent, once I dropped you off in Fredericton, it's going to be at least 10 days that we've been together, and that we haven't been together for that length of time in a long time. And because of COVID, I haven't seen him for a year and a half, other than the short time that I met him at his wife in Vancouver a few weeks ago. And it's so great to see him and his wife, and we've spent time together at his trailer park in Cap Pelé. And it's going to miss you, Mel, when you leave Fredericton. But you're doing a great job. Thanks for all your help and helping with photography and everything.
Okay.
So we're just having some great conversations here in the car. I thought we'd share them with you. And one of the things that we're talking about is the strategy of the charging. We're going to be, on our way to the Porto Basque, where the ferry is, where we're going to take tonight. The ferry normally, you have to be there at 9:45, 2 hours in advance of the 11:45 sailing. And maybe I shouldn't be giving my strategy away on this one, but I did call the ticket office and told them that we're on this fast EV drive and we want to save time, and we're hoping that we can get later on so that we can leave later and save some time. So they actually got it and agreed. And not only that, the lady I talked to, her name was Tina, and she has an associate, Dawn, and Tina just said, just keep us updated on your travels, which I just talked to Dawn, who's on an earlier shift, and she got the message from Tina that we were going to be checking in. She knows all about what we're requesting, and we're all good with that. And as soon as I get to Deer Lake, actually Corner Brook, I'm going to say, that we're going to boot it, as fast as we can down to Porto Basque, and then use all that extra time that we are in advance of 11 o'clock. That is the last time that we really should get on the ferry. It'll be all used to charge up, so when we get off the ferry in the morning in Sydney, which arrives around 7, we'll have a fully charged car. Yeah. And because the charging stations are quite close together here on the Trans-Canada Highway in Newfoundland, which only really started a few, months ago, and some of them were just installed and ready to go a few weeks ago. This has been perfect timing for our trip, and these chargers have been amazing. These are put in by ChargePoint, powered by Newfoundland Hydro, and the graphics on the chargers look great. They actually initiate and start charging within less than 15 seconds. There was one time on our trip to St. John's, it didn't charge at all, and after about a minute I just restarted it, and then it went to 15 seconds or less. So I'm really impressed with this charging network. All I do is tap my ChargePoint card. I got it in my pocket actually. Yeah, here it is. There it is. And I actually put it right on my dashboard, so it's always there for me. And all the chargers are all the ChargePoint ones. And what's great is that it has a little faster charge than most of the 50 kilowatt charge. Well, it's faster than all the 50 kilowatt chargers that most of the charging companies across Canada were using this year and the last 2 years and before. And that little extra 20% boost is nice to have. So these have been really great, and I didn't give Kent an edge in at all, so give me some of your comments there.
Part of traveling in an EV, which we've been doing for virtually a decade now. When you're traveling and you're in a hurry, you shouldn't leave it to the very last stop before you're out of power, because anything can happen with those EV chargers, from somebody being parked in the spot to the breaker being down to a lawnmower cutting the cord, or a snow plow catching the cord or the cable. We've seen pretty much everything under the sun that could happen to these things, and if you're traveling and you're in a hurry, it's really good to not leave yourself without an extra backup. So it's best to leapfrog the chargers. Take a charge when you can, and then keep going. So it's probably the best word of advice if somebody's under a timeline restraint.
That's good comments. That's very good comments. And as a matter of fact, we were going to go to the charger in advance of the one we just came from, which is Bishop's Falls. And if that charger that we were going to go to, we would have had maybe 30 or 40 kilometers on our battery.
3 kilometers, keep straight.
I'm going to turn her off. So my point is that if we got there, we only had 30, 40 kilometers on the battery, we could get stuck because I don't think there's any other chargers around that location. So that's why we stopped at Bishop's Falls and charged up, maybe 15 minutes so that we could get to the next charger after that if we needed to.
Yeah, and there is more level 2s out there now than before. Like when we were electrifying the highways, there really wasn't any other chargers out there. So a lot of the times we're the only charger in the whole town or city, and so it's really important not to leave yourself a backup plan. And but most people that have, say, level 2 chargers are pretty accommodating, and they'll let you charge up for free. Some places, like a lot of Best Westerns and most of our other customers, don't really restrict access, and they're really empowering people and inspiring people. And Best Western has been doing that for 9 years now, internationally with us. So they've been really the biggest supporter on the EV movement from a hotel perspective, to the point where they don't even open up a new hotel unless there's an EV charger in there. So it's pretty cool, and they implemented that a few years ago. So hats off Best Western.
Yeah, and hats off to you, Kent, because without your charging network at Sun Country, I wouldn't have been able to make it across the country 2 years ago, and that's the total honest truth. And thank you, buddy.
Yeah, we're both double vaxxed, so we're okay here. But
I'm not going to kiss him.
Yeah, well, but, that's karma, right? So here I did that, and it was a decade ago almost, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what took you so long to get your trip done and call me about this trip that you were doing, a few years ago, but. I was waiting for you to call, right? It just took you a while.
That's right. Well, I mean, and I've only met Kent in person in July, when I started my trip from Vancouver to going east to Newfoundland. But I talked to him for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
There was articles on Kent's Sun Country Highway in the Vancouver Sun. And I'm not sure exactly how I got your number, but I did, and I called you up and just let you know who I was, and we got into a pretty good relationship right then from the start. And he's a very busy guy. He's working 80 hours a week, working on all sorts of different projects regarding sustainability and electrification and wind power and all sorts of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And he's taken his time to be on this trip with me. Taking a full week out of his busy schedule, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Well, it's people like you, Harvey, that I just really wanted to inspire around the world, because you can't change the world, but if you can inspire and empower a lot of people, and if those people go out and inspire a lot of people, then basically you can change the world. So thank you for what you've done and what you continue to do.
Well, I love talking about electric cars. Everybody that knows me knows that, and it's an easy topic for me to discuss because it really does make a difference on so many levels. And on my trip, on the way here to Newfoundland, I met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people, did videos on some people that told me that the reason why they bought an electric car was the fact that they're doing it for their children and their grandchildren, which the point of obviously is to save the environment so that we as a human race can be sustainable on this planet, because the way it's going, with all the fires and the extra heat and the glaciers melting, I mean, it's this planet, the environment that we need anyway, is in the environment's in dire straits. So we really need to do something and something quickly.
Yeah, and even more so than that is the biodiversity of the other species, that we're losing about 100 species a day. And some of those species, if they turn into keystone species, then we're in serious trouble. And it won't take long to get to that if we don't really start making a difference in our own lives, and try to inspire others, from starting with your family and your friends to total strangers. It's really critically important that we we get out of our comfort zone and we really, go meet some people and just try to help out. The smallest little, effort, builds up over a year, and especially if you can spread that around the world to your family and friends and the places you visit.
Okay, we're going to have a lot more discussions to talk about later. This is an endless topic. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for following us on Marianne's Electric Drive 2.0 EV Dash Across the Country edition.
Thank you.
Anyway, we get to the charger and we talk to the guys in a Tesla, and they said this charger was working perfectly. So I'm booting it, and my average speed was around 110 kilometers an hour, and it's only 10 kilometers over the speed limit on average. And we get here, and Kent hasn't had a chance to, plug in yet. So I told him, I'll let you plug in. So he gets it plugged in, and what happened?
Well, I've never used anybody else's chargers before in my life, right? So he gave me the ChargePoint card, and I went up and I plugged in the car, I tapped it, and it started to charge, and then it said, nope, sorry, charger needs service. So, it's one of those things that that's why you leapfrog and make sure that you always can get to the next charger if the one charger doesn't work. So, but we pulled it out, checked the car, make sure that it was off, reset it, plugged it in the car again, and tapped it, and it did work. So, if you're out there charging and you have an issue with the charger, don't sweat it. Just reset it and reset the car, and you can even get in the car and back it up and move it forward again, get out, close the door. There's a lot of little things that could maybe trigger these things, but don't sweat it until you have to sweat it.
But the thing is that of all the times that we've been using these new ChargePoint chargers, they've been working really flawlessly. There was one point where it didn't initialize to charge after about a minute or two. Just tried it again and it worked perfect. And this was a different situation, but again, we just tried it again and it worked perfect. There we go.
So level 2 chargers have had a lot of experience. Level 3 is new, right? So it's a new technology, so you have to treat it that way.
Anyway, I'm going to go in the car. I'm going to get my logbook all taken care of. Well, we're actually doing very well right now. We're actually ahead of schedule. We're 13 minutes ahead of schedule, and I'm really, really happy to know that. And we're going to make one more charge stop in Deer Lake, and we will have enough power once we charge, and I'm going to charge 100% of the battery. We'll have 265 kilometers left to go, which we can easily do in about 2.5 hours. And then we're going to go to the charger that's right near the terminal and charge it. We'll have time to charge it full and get on the ferry with a full battery and leave tomorrow morning all ready to go and start our day. Really happy. And right now the weather is beautiful. It's totally different from when we left St. John's, and the wind is still against us, so we still have a headwind. We've had a headwind all day, but now the headwind seems to be not quite so bad, right?
Yeah, it's perfect right now. I don't think there's any wind at all.
Yeah, well, I think there is a bit of wind, but it's not that much of a factor anyway. Yeah. Well, we just had dinner, and while this was happening while we're charging, and the charger told us we just left Deer Lake, which is 265 kilometers from Port aux Basques, which is where we're catching our ferry to Sydney, Nova Scotia. We're 30 minutes ahead of schedule, and actually the charger said when I plugged in that it would take 1 hour to charge. So we thought we'd have plenty of time to eat. We get the service was not bad, but we were kind of rushed at the end because my app says, oh my God, you're 5 minutes to the end of your charging. In other words, the car was ready before we were. And we could have left probably at least 5 minutes while the car was sitting there doing nothing, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for minimizing the time of waiting around and charging, and maximizing the time driving. So, you know, that was pretty good. The charger quality and performance was excellent. And now it's getting, you know, darker, because the end of the day is happening. Right now it's 7:13 in the evening, and by 8 o'clock it will be pretty much dark. And we're in Newfoundland. And what does that mean? Guys, what does that mean?
You gotta keep your eyes on the road.
Speak up.
Gotta watch for moose.
Gotta watch for moose. That's
this
right.
thing's not going under them very easily.
That's right. So I'm going to maximize my speed by going a little faster than I normally do, because I'm going to be slowing down when it gets really dark. And I'm going to do my best to find a big, heavy, fast-moving transport truck for two reasons. The number one reason is to prevent, you know, my car getting smashed by a moose, or me hitting a moose, but let the transport truck have that happen. And he's kind of like my blocker. And of course, the other reason is, you know, I get a draft, so my efficiency of my car is a bit better. I'll probably check in when we get close to the ferry. Okay, we're coming up to Corner Brook, and just north of Corner Brook, maybe 5 minutes if that, is Marble Mountain. And we're coming up to it now. And this is one of the best ski resorts in all of Eastern Canada. And some people will say, you know, west of the Rockies. They've got great runs, they got a lot of snow, and they've had Canada Games here, and it's really an impressive mountain. Okay, turn it off.
Perfect.
Parking in your way. You want to back up a few feet?
If that's okay, I think it'll be all right. I'm skinny.
Okay, just don't hit your
Yeah.
paint job on that.
Thank you.
All right, cool.
Thank you so much. Well, we made it on the ferry, and they waited for us. They let us charge the car before we came on board. Tuesday morning, and the ferry just docked into North Sydney Harbor for Marine Atlantic, and we had a really good sleep. We were fortunate enough to get a berth with 2 bunk beds, so we had, you know, all 3 of us got a bunk bed. And hey guys, how was your sleep last night?
It was amazing. So
You know, that's the last time we're going to be in a bed for 4 more nights. We will not be sleeping in any bed, unless
Yeah, I
it's in
know
the
that.
back of the Audi.
Yeah, no, it was short, but it was awesome.
Yeah, and Mel, my brother, thanks for joining me on this trip. We're going to be dropping you off in Fredericton, of course, and thank you very much for joining us and joining me.
Yeah.
You've been a really big help, and just having you around and hanging out, that was the best part.
Thank you, I agree. And organizing the cabin was key, and we all had a good night. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, great. Anyway, we're going to be taking off from the ferry in about half an hour, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Okay.
The trucks are just releasing their brakes. We're good.
Yeah. Okay, good.